Well, all we can hope is that when they make Spiral 2, they have those cameos from Rob Schneider, get Paul Blart in there, the Sandman, and then there's
And
no
Steve
way it's gonna fail.
Buscemi. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
basically the plot of Grown Ups, but instead of them just having fun summer times with their family, they go to the cabin and then it's a saw cabin. They just
Oh
gotta
my,
sit.
that
They
would
gotta
actually
go all
really
the pranks to save their family.
that would be actually really fitting. Like, there's that scene where they have to like go down the zip line at the water park, but then there can be like spikes and stuff at the bottom, and
Yeah,
then
like they put like acid in the water in the pool, so
yeah.
like they're going down the water slides and their skin's melting off, and they gotta swing over the acid water part.
All right, from the top.
Uh, Playhouse reviews.
Warning: this video contains in-depth movie reviews and film discussions, which include movie spoilers of key plot points and may ruin the viewing pleasure of audiences listening to this podcast who have not yet seen these films. The Playhouse brothers highly recommend watching these films before listening to this episode to ensure your listening experience enjoyment levels are maximized. If you do not care about having movie endings spoiled, please disregard this message and proceed with listening.
Hello to all of our Playhouse pals out there. Welcome to this week's episode of Playhouse Reviews. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Jamie.
We got an exciting episode for everyone tonight. We're going to be reviewing the new Disney Cruella movie along with Chris Rock's Spiral, the reboot of the Saw series. But before we get started, I have a little anecdote I want to share with all of our listeners today.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So I went to the dentist the other day just to get my teeth cleaned. And while you're in the chair, they gave you a remote and you can watch Netflix. So at home, I've been watching that explained docuseries where like each episode is like its own like little 30-minute documentary. There's like a K-pop episode and an esports one. So I was gonna watch that, and as I was scrolling through it, there was one episode was already watched, like on the Netflix there on that account.
The public Netflix at your dental office.
Yes, the one episode that was watched was called the female orgasm episode. So it either means some patient was getting their teeth cleaned and watching that with the dentist cleaning their teeth, or the dentist just watched it by himself on that shared account.
Or it's probably the creepy dentist guy probably just put it on before his patients came in just to set the ambiance before he put the patients under. Dude, that's a high-end dentist you're going to.
I know.
I want to have
it was
Netflix
pretty
on there.
nice.
It's pretty
Yeah, I
ideal.
just put up some fucked up horror movie or something.
you just clean your teeth. Just looking over. What is that? What is that? Put on like Irreversible or something.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Well, that's a good little story. You know, that's what the worst part about going to the dentist or the doctor or doing any of these like normal life errands thing. It's that you can't watch movies when you're doing them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but now you can. So that's one more movie you could probably watch.
Yeah, I had to ask them to slow down because I wanted to get to the end of my episode. I didn't want them to be done cleaning it.
It'd be even better if you could get movies in the car. That's what I'm trying to pitch to Elon Musk right now. So Elon Musk, if you're watching this, you got to turn the front windshield of your self-driving cars into a giant TV screen. You should partner with Netflix, and then they can just project Netflix movies while you drive on the freeway all the time.
I think Cars 2 should have it on their back windshield so the person behind you can also watch the movie with you. So it's like you're together.
That'd be nice. That'd be good. And it'd be really good if you get really close, like if someone's tailgating, it just overrides the TV of the person behind you, so they have to watch a message of your choosing. So if they get too close, you can just put like the Sandman on loop or something like that, or some annoying memes. Dude, $1 billion idea right there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we get into our main reviews, do you have anything else you watched this week that you want to mention real quick?
No movies, but I did just finish watching The Great on Hulu, which is about Elizabeth the Great's coming of power as she gets married to the Emperor of Russia. And it's kind of a satire of those ruling times and Victorian thing. It's pretty funny.
Those like British nobles in their pure inbred blood.
Yeah, exactly. But it's pretty funny. It does of all like the horrible stuff. It's kind of like, what is it, Caligula? Because the guy's just such a horrible, awful person, and he just tortures everyone all the time. But it's in a kind of a darkly funny way, and it's historical fiction, so it's not super accurate, but there's a lot of truth to it. It's just kind of hilarious.
It's just kind of like exaggerated, I imagine. Yeah.
But it was enjoyable. It had some good set design. It looked really pretty.
All the
nice
costumes I
outfits
really
and
like.
costumes. Yeah, it was on point. And I think they're probably doing a season 2, but I enjoyed it. It's a good show for the couples. What about you, Charlie? Have you watched anything this week?
So I watched a bunch of stuff, but the one thing I want to mention is that this was a bucket list item I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I watched all of the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, lucky duck.
So yeah, I'll go real quick because I could talk about these for an entire episode. So there's 6 total. The first one is by far the best, and the 5th one is by far the worst. So I'll leave it at that. They clearly didn't plan to have 6 movies. I'm pretty sure it was made to be a trilogy because Mila Jovovich gets superpowers at the end of the 3rd one, and then at the beginning of the 4th one they just take them away and they're just gone forever. And then at the end of the 3rd one they kill like the main bad guy from the previous movie. And then in the 6th movie, he comes back and he's just like, "Oh, JK, that was just my clone that you killed, and I'm the real bad guy."
Well, was it number 4 or number 5 where they introduced all the cloning of stuff? Because wasn't like Mila's character, she was cloned, and like the intro is her getting killed by lasers, but it's like just her doing it over and over again.
Yeah,
like,
the clones
train her or something stupid.
Were introduced in the 3rd one, but I think it was the 4th one. All of the clones assault the main Umbrella headquarters, and they all die except for the main one.
So there's like a team of Mila like actresses just going and killing everyone.
Yeah, and it's a really bad green screen whenever there's more than one on the screen at a time.
I'm imagining like, what is it, Matrix 2 with like all the Mr. Smiths when they're just a bunch of them.
Yeah, it looked even worse in this, even though it came out several years later. But I just want to say just a brief summary. So individually, all of the movies are pretty bad. I don't think a single one has more than 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. But kind of the whole experience of watching all of them, it was a very enjoyable journey, just going on this like ridiculous, over the top, like adventure, epic, Lord of the Rings style zombie apocalypse. So that's one thing. And then it did have some cool scenes. I mean, everyone remembers in the first one the laser scene, and they go back to that spot, and I think 4 out of the 6 movies. So I mean, that's always exciting. Yeah, there's a lot of cool monster designs and good violence.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that was the best part of the first one, and all of them are all the great death scenes and the lasers.
Yeah.
Kind of like almost reminds me of Hellraiser when the guy gets ripped apart by the hooks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's like probably one of the most violent things in the whole series.
Yeah.
But that's why I always praise it. Is like that's like the one thing that everyone remembers about that movie is that laser scene. But
I mean, I imagine the universe building's pretty good for it. I mean, the same director that did Monster Hunter. I didn't watch all the Resident Evil ones, but they're pretty interesting ideas. I mean, the writing's probably not great, but to your point, seeing the cool giant monster zombie universe is pretty dope.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was an enjoyable experience. But I just want to say too, these movies. So there's 6 movies, and I looked up like the total budget for all of them. It was about $300 million across the 6 movies, and the total profits were $1.2 billion. So these terrible movies grossed almost $1 billion total, and that just blows my mind. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Resident Evil's huge. Like I think worldwide, everyone loves Resident Evil, and there's a bunch of fanboys.
Yeah, I mean, they just recently came out with another one of the Japanese like CG ones, I think. So I've only seen I think 1 or 2 of those, which individually are a lot better than the Resident Evil ones. But
yeah, I mean, I feel like Resident Evil. I mean, I don't know, they're not my favorite of movies. I just kind of wish they just stuck to the video game plot. The video game's a pretty solid story. I mean, now they're getting a little weird with like Village and stuff. I don't know, but with the original Resident Evil,
the original like 3, all I feel like could be made into movie format pretty easily.
Even Resident Evil 4, I think, would be good on its own too. But
yeah.
I just want like what is it, Matt Damon or Leonardo DiCaprio from the '90s playing Leon Kennedy. That would be ideal.
So one thing that's funny, so in these movies, they don't really like some of the characters from the games kind of like pop up, come in and out. But in the 5th movie, the worst one, they introduce a bunch of the characters from the games, but they all look like Craigslist versions of the video game characters. Like, I honestly thought I was watching like a low budget porno because like you know how like what was it, the Fast and Furious spoof movie that we watched, and they look kind of like the real actors, but kind of just like weird looking awkward versions of them. That's like how this one was, but serious with the video game characters. So they're in the fifth movie, and then in the sixth movie, they're just gone for some reason. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, dude, that was like there needs to be more spoof movies. I miss all those like B-list like actor lookalikes that are like Tim and Eric characters they throw in there. Well, another really good one besides the Fast and the Furious spoof was it the Hungover Games, and it had like everyone from The Hangover in the Hunger Games. Those are all just kind of looked like weird versions of the dudes from The Hangover. But yeah, so of all the Resident Evil movies, would you recommend watching the series to everyone?
I mean, if you have like a day to kill, maybe. I mean, I took breaks and stuff, but I started watching at like 8 a.m. and I finished it at like 7 p.m. So,
Dude, that's a solid day. Like 12 hours of Resident Evil movie watching. So I didn't watch I didn't watch all of the Resident Evil movies, but I have watched all of the Saw movies now, including the new Spiral.
I don't even think I've seen all of them.
You know, I can't say that they're that great. I can't recommend watching them all or that it's a good spend of time. I mean, if you really like Saw, for me, I just like all the contraptions and the
Yeah,
different
that's
deaths.
definitely one of the highlights. I think that's what kind of kept the series going was the intricate, ridiculous, over-the-top traps.
So this one was. Should we jump into Spiral then?
So
or
let's
do you have
go.
any other
Yeah.
thoughts? Yeah.
No,
So.
let's go.
Well, now we're going to be talking about Spiral, starring Chris Rock and directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. He was the director, I think, of Saw 2, 3, and 4. I don't think he did 5 and 6. And, Saw 2, 3, and 4, I remember them having pretty solid death scenes. 5 and 6, I thought were horrendous. And this one is, it's I don't know why they chose to cast Chris Rock, but what were your first thoughts on Spiral?
So I just want to say I could tell from the very beginning that this movie was setting up for like a big twist at the end because like everyone remembers like the first Saw, like how groundbreaking it was when like Jigsaw is like the dead body on the floor and he gets up and slams the door shut. So the whole time I just kept guessing like what's it gonna be, what's it gonna be, and then at the end when Jigsaw finally took off his mask and it revealed that it was Adam Sandler, my jaw hit the floor.
Dude, that was the biggest reveal was the Adam Sandler. Like, you know, all true Adam Sandler fans were expecting that big reveal, and then they actually did it. The only improvement I just was waiting for Rob Schneider to come up. He would have played a perfect, like, dirty, kind of crooked cop guy that would fit in this one. I mean, he would have been great.
No, what I really wanted was like they're doing like a press release where they're like, oh yeah, these murders are going on. We're looking into it, and then like a reporter's like, oh, do you think this could be like the Jigsaw killer? And he's like, we're investigating it. And then the camera pans to the crowd, and then Rob Schneider's there. He's like, you can do it. You can catch the bad guy.
Or, dude, I just was expecting. Did they do this in any of the Saw ones where they're like live streaming any of the torture things? One of them was in a public square, like they're in a giant glass box. I remember for one of the Saws.
I mean,
but that would have been a perfect opportunity for Rob saying, "You can do it! Just chop your hand off! Come on!" That would have been really good.
well, I think this is kind of like a soft reboot of the Saw movies. So I think the reboot should just be like Adam Sandler universe, Adam Sandler extended universe, and they're just all the Sandler
Dude,
buddies.
that would be prime. That would be ideal. I mean, I think if anyone's gonna save it, I mean, Chris Rock did a pretty good job bringing it back, but Sandman, if he was the main cop, that would have been great. I was also really happy because I didn't know that Samuel Jackson was going to have a guest appearance too.
Yeah, he was actually in it more than I thought. I knew he was in it, but I thought it was gonna be one of those movies where he's in it for like one scene. But he's actually in it a decent amount.
Yeah, he looks a lot younger than I remember him being, and Chris Rock looks a lot older. They're pretty close in age. I don't know. I don't know how young he was supposed to be when he had Chris Rock as a kid, but it was very interesting. But yeah, I just want to say, but when the movie first started, I think the first half the tone was really off. Like, I felt like they're kind of trying to do jokes. I couldn't tell if Chris Rock was supposed to be trying to be funny or if just trying to show that the cops were like unlikable and corrupt. And then it was just very bizarre. Like some of his jokes and like all the political correctness and stuff he was talking about, like it just made him seem so unlikable and like it was just not very well delivered either. So
Yeah,
it,
well,
it
I
just
mean,
had a
I can
very
never
strange
take
vibe
him.
to it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't take Chris Rock seriously just because of his past roles, and then his voice is kind of very fitting for a more comedic role. So he still kind of talks the way that he talks, like it is what it is. But
Mhm.
it didn't really fit right. And then I don't know, it did kind of hit you over the head with the police reform thing, which is very relevant, but it was very in your face in this
Yeah, I
movie.
mean that part didn't even bother me, but it's also I feel like it was kind of poorly done. It's like
Yeah,
all, the
yeah.
cops are corrupt. I think that's kind of enough, but it's really just his delivery. By the second half, though, he did get better. Like it was the first part of the movie, like the first 20 minutes, was super cringy to me, and I think it was mainly just because their choice of background actors was really bad. Like the opening
Yeah.
shot was them walking in the carnival, and then it just kind of showing all the cool colors, and it was like a bunch of people, and then there's just like one chubby dude wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and cargo shorts, and he's just walking like, oh, and he like looks at the camera too, and it's like one of the like a random background extra, and he just looks at him like, what the
It's
heck?
like a red post on Esther
Yeah,
Streets.
that's literally the thought I had, and he just was looking so like goofy. And then the other guy too, the other second like extra that was really noticeable was when the train's coming and it's about to hit the guy. The train driver, he's like reading a book, then he looks
Oh
up, he's like,
yeah, yeah, I
oh,
remember that.
oh,
Yeah, he was like
and I was like,
he was
what?
overacting a lot.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
what is going on here?
Well, just another thing too, not really the acting, like the background actors, but there were a lot of inconsistencies, and they were like pretty important. So when the second cop died and the he was getting the package under the truck, it was like very clear he was picking up the evidence box with his bare hand, and then it cut back and he was holding a glove holding the box, and it was like super obvious because like you're going to be looking at those kinds of things anyways, like it's something that you draw your attention to, and it was like
Hmm.
very clear he was touching it with his bare hands, and then in the next cut he was touching it with a glove.
Yeah, well, even with that too, at the beginning he was pretty careful about using gloves when opening evidence, and like sometimes they take pictures of evidence, but then like after like two people die, they're just like fuck it, no gloves, like no taking photos, like they're just grabbing shit like willy nilly. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's just because they're bad cops. I don't know. But dude, the cuts were very strange. I feel like they filmed all of the dialogue in the police station like the same day or
Yeah, well,
something
did it? So
because it was like
I felt like it sounded dubbed for some parts. Is that just me? I watched it with headphones on, but there were some scenes where it sounded like it was dubbed.
I don't know if it was dubbed, but I think it was very clearly. Well, I guess it kind of was dubbed because I think they were like editing bits of sound from different like scenes and different takes, and like when they
Mm-hmm.
would split, the cuts were super jarring, is what I noticed. Like the
Mm-hmm.
police chief would say something, and then it would like cut to Chris Rock saying like one line, and then like
And it
it
would be
was
like
so abrupt.
louder. It would be
Yeah,
louder
it'd
than
be
the
like
other
louder,
one.
like it'd be like a
Yeah.
close up of his face for like 1 second, and then go cut back like abruptly to the. It was just so weird.
Yeah,
Like
because there was like things like that too, where people would be having a conversation and like one person would be like way louder than the other person. And since I had headphones on, it was like super noticeable.
yeah, well, it's also that whole opening scene where Chris Rock's getting chewed out for like doing the undercover robbery, which made no sense to me. What the hell was going on at that for that part? But like the police chief was just yelling at him. They were just like screaming at each other, and then one person would come and just talk in a normal voice, but they're just
Hmm.
very aggressively yelling, and then they didn't even do anything. Like, okay, no big deal, it's fine. You're in trouble, but not really. You're in trouble. It was so comical.
I mean, yeah, she
It was
still made him like the lead on the case, even though he was like supposed to be
no.
trapped.
Dude, or then when the first guy gets killed, like, all right, we're gonna have this other guy, not Chris Rock, be on the case. And he's like, what? You're not putting me on the case? Get over here, chief. And they go talk in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then they walk back out. Everyone's still waiting there. Like, all right, Chris Rock's in. Like, why'd you go in the bathroom? Why not go in her office, which is right next to you? Just go in the office. Why do you have to go in the bathroom? There were so many funny things like that. Yeah, I don't know though, but the opening part, like that opening sequence with the robbery and the heist, that really bothered me. It just felt like he was trying to like mimic Pulp Fiction or something, and it was just super like cringy dialogue, like them talking about
Yeah.
like political correctness, which just kind of reminded me of like Reservoir Dogs when they're talking about like
Tipping or
like
not
a Virgin
tipping.
song
Oh.
and not tipping, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like they even had some guy and he had the John Travolta haircut from
Yeah.
fucking Pulp Fiction, but like it was just really bad dialogue. It wasn't good. And then I was just
And like yeah, like
it
you
just
said,
put me
Chris
off.
Rock isn't like a A-list actor either. For
Yeah,
his
but I mean,
performances.
most of the people in at least like when Reservoir Dogs, even Pulp Fiction, like they're not like great actors at that time.
Yeah, I
I
guess
guess they
they're
kind of
yeah.
were, but
Some of them, but yeah. But let's get into what matters. This is a Saw movie. What did you think of the traps and death scenes?
Dude, they were pretty good. They were much better than the last Saw movie. The last Saw movie just recycled old ideas, and it wasn't even that gory. So, but yeah, I really liked them. I particularly liked the fingers getting ripped off in those weird little finger net things.
Dude,
That
doesn't he
was
know in a
pretty good.
Chinese finger trap you have to like put your hand forward to loosen
Yeah.
it and then you can pull it out? Yeah, duh.
But I just thought it was so funny because like he was pulling them, then it was like they kind of ripped off, but it was like really stretchy. Like the tendons went
Yeah.
really far. Like I don't know if skin's that stretchy or not. I feel like you could kind of like at that point he doesn't have to bite down. He could just like rip them off
Okay,
himself.
I just want to say that trap seemed really rigged to be impossible to win because he bit down like right away and he only took like a 2-second break.
Yeah.
I feel like even if he bit down like immediately, he wouldn't have had enough time to like get his fingers ripped off and then hop out of the tub before he got electrocuted.
Yeah, it was very short. All of them had a very, very short time frame to like do this. Like even the guy with the
Yeah.
tongue, I think he had like what 2 minutes only.
Yeah, but
Guess
that
that's
was
better.
easy because you can just like
Yeah.
jump and then it's just over. You can't stop halfway.
Yeah, that's true. The finger one's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to endure it. Yeah.
And then even the glass blowing machine thing too. That was pretty quick too. But
Yeah, it only went like 3 cycles.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. I thought that was really cool.
that was very inventive. I thought he was gonna
Yeah.
get like when it showed the conveyor belt. I thought he was gonna get pulled into the garbage disposal thing or
Yeah.
something or the grinder. But yeah, dude, that sounds horrific. Being shot with these broken shards of glass. So. I'm glad they were getting back to their roots with that, with the good torture and the gore. But
Yeah. I mean, I still think one of my favorite Saw death scenes. I think it's in the like one of the back half of the Saw movies where all of the people are like tied to a car in different ways, and then the car drops on one girl's face, and the tire just like peels her entire face off.
dude, that was Saw 3D. We saw that one in theaters. I remember like the eyeball like shooting out of the screen in 3D. Dude, that one had some really, really ridiculous gore. I think that's the one where they had the glass box in the public park or something as the opening scene too. Yeah, that one had some good ones. That one's really good. I think my all-time favorite though of all the Saw movies is the one where it's like a motor engine or something, and then there's two guys that are like their heads are like chained to the engine. And it's like sucking the chains in slowly closer and closer. Then it's like one tiny little like skinny guy and like his mouth is sewn shut.
Oh, and the other
And then
guy's eyes
there's
are
one
sewn
really
shut or
jacked
something?
guy, and the jacked guy has his eyes sewn shut. Then they both have like weapons, and it's like you have to kill the other person to survive, and they just duke it out. That was pretty good. That was very interesting, but there was some good ones. Yeah, this it definitely delivered on the gore. I wouldn't say it delivered much of anything else, but at least the death scenes were good.
I don't know. I thought the wax one was kind of disappointing. I mean, can't really.
Oh, the weird
Yeah,
like gas thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
on the Keith
So
and Police Lady.
yeah, that one wasn't great. But so what was that? I thought it was like hot boiling water, but then it was like black sludge.
It was wax.
It was hot wax.
Yeah.
Where's the wax coming from?
Yeah, I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. He made like a whole boiler room down there in the evidence area. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they're really bad cops, they never go down there. But I don't know. Like, how did he get all that shit down there?
I know,
Like,
because I felt like that guy was only there for like a couple days. Like, he joined like the day they started investigating that. And I feel like the investigation only took place after like a few days. It was like
Yeah, it
4
was
days or
very
something.
fast.
Yeah.
It was such a stupid twist. It was so dumb.
Well, okay, so the actual twist, no, all Adam Sandler jokes aside, it was so obvious. They showed every death, like the person actually dying, except for the guy, the like new partner guy. So like you knew that it was gonna be him. It was like
Yeah.
so obvious.
and it wasn't even a trap or a contraption or whatever that killed him. It was just like, oh, he's
Yeah.
dead and skinned alive. Well, okay, what happened? Why is there no machine? Like all of
Yeah.
them had things.
They could have done like they could have showed it, and then it was just like an old like switcheroo thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like
And-
incredibly dumb. They tattooed like the tweaker guy. Like tattoos
Yeah.
take a few days for them to look like normal tattoos. Like,
And they used that same trope in one of the other Saw movies. I think it's like Saw 5. Like one of the guys, he's in the, like he's like, it's the same bad guy, like the first one. He's in the game, but he's actually the one playing it. And he's a cop. So it's like a crooked cop who like survives it and then becomes like the Jigsaw killer. So like you're kind of expecting the cops to be in on it now because you're looking for it because you already used that gag.
Yeah, it was super obvious. And then they like showed the scene where like he has a recording of a crying baby to make it seem like, oh man, he's so clever with this crying baby recording.
Oh, dude, the flashback was so ridiculous. And that's another obvious thing too, because he's like, oh, I gotta go contact the guy's family when he finds out he's dead, and then he doesn't even go. It's like he banks like the rookie cop banks on like Chris Rock not going to check out the family. So yeah, and then the little like when he walks away with the phone, it's like, oh, I gotta use your phone, mine's dead, and it's like, oh, okay, don't go watch porn on it or something like that and drain the battery. It's like
Yeah, it was super
that was a pretty obvious one. Maybe it was supposed to be a joke that just kind of we didn't connect with for whatever reason, but I don't know.
And then the one other cop, the black cop, who was just like an asshole for no reason, and he kept popping up, and they're like, "Oh, that guy's such an asshole." And then like he'd be in a few scenes later, "Oh yeah, he's just being an asshole. Don't worry about him." And then like that character just like stops being in the movie for some reason.
Yeah, he's just gone. Does he even die or anything?
No, nothing. He just stops being in the movie. He doesn't do anything. Like he doesn't add anything. He's in like one of the flashbacks, I think. Like.
Just throw in one more death at least.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. I mean, that final like reveal with the Samuel Jackson and that weird blood draining puppet machine. I mean, it was kind of cool that he was a puppet. That part I liked.
Yeah, I liked that.
I was expecting like I don't know. I feel like with all the Saw movies, like at this point, like I wanted like 3 or 5 cops and like a bunch of different machines, and it was like triple time. Like you got to go really fast to like save all of them and see more contraptions.
I thought he was at least gonna get like ripped apart or something, like the hooks or something extremely grotesque. But
yeah.
Okay, so did I miss something? So they're at like that warehouse at the end, the empty building, and he calls the police and he's like, "Oh, there's a crazy person with a gun here. Come quick." So just like the entire SWAT comes immediately.
I mean, I guess it's because. Oh, you're right. I don't think he said it's Jigsaw. You're right.
I think he just said crazy person with a gun and then like fired in the air a couple times. Like, damn, they have a good ass police force in like whatever city they're in.
I mean, I think what the expectation is that since Spiral is killing people or the Jigsaw copycat's murdering people, the cops are gonna get there super quick with like full force. But I don't think he mentions it's Spiral.
Yeah, he should have said like, "Oh, I was captured by Jigsaw. And I just cut off my own arm. I need help."
Yeah. And then when they went in the elevator at the end, they all died, right? Like Chris Rock or did it not?
No, I don't think so.
He got away.
He
right?
just got away. Yeah. Because for some reason the elevator is just 100% foolproof way of escaping.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could have at least showed him like going down the elevator in like a secret sewer tunnel or something,
Yeah, and then it just ended like super abrupt,
really quickly. There's no like epilogue or resolution or anything.
So, did you want Chris Rock to team up with him or not team up with him at the end?
I think he kind of should have. I think
he should have too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's his dad, so he's not going to let his dad die. But I kind of wanted him to. But, okay, so my big problem with this movie is, like, when they start off, like, all the cops are supposed to be the bad guys. Like, they're all crooked cops, right?
Yeah.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
But, like, it wasn't clear to me until, like, halfway through the movie that Chris Rock's actually supposed to be, like, a good cop.
Yeah, that's kind of, I feel like that's what they're trying to do with that, like, opening scene with, like, the heist, is that he's, like, a good guy. But, I mean, I don't know, they all just seem like such assholes, and...
But was he a good guy? I thought he was just stealing money from these drug dealers for him and his friends just to like fuck these guys over and get the money.
No, I feel like he was just like, he's one of those cops that's like willing to do anything to get the perp. But I mean, they didn't do it well. I mean, but that was just what I got. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of became more clear to me. But like all the shit he was talking about, like how he's treating his coworker, like his other police officers. Like, granted, they're all shitty people too, but like. I don't know. It wasn't that clear to me that he was the good cop.
Yeah, no, I don't. Like, yeah, they didn't do a good job either way. I feel like he should have been like the more like the classic, just like hardworking one, where they're like, "Oh, here's all the extra paperwork," and he's like, "Oh, I'll just do it, whatever." I don't mind picking up some slack for the rest of the team. I'm a team player here, even if no one else is.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, to your point, like, yeah, I guess they were trying to make him like, oh, the cop that'll do anything to get the job done, but that's like kind of why cops are bad, because they just take things too far and they use like force unnecessarily and shit, which I think is a theme the movie was trying to go for. And it's like, if he's just robbing things, not reporting, not calling things in and doing it right. I mean, yes, his old apartment's corrupt, but I don't know. They just kind of it was just very strangely handled.
Yeah,
delivered
yeah.
for
Well, I
me.
mean, everything in this movie is like so over the top. Like the asshole cops are like extremely asshole cops, and like Samuel L. Jackson's character, it's like satire almost. He's like so ridiculous.
Dude, I kind of wish he was the main. Like instead of Chris Rock, I wish it was just like Samuel Jackson going through it. He would have been so much more entertaining to
Oh,
watch going through all
definitely,
the
definitely. I
different.
mean, he just walked right into Jigsaw's trap.
I
Where
know. I mean,
he's like so cocky.
Dude, I feel like it would have been great if it was like the same plot of I think it's Saw 3 where it's like the one guy has to go through all of the different
All the
rooms,
challenges, yeah, yeah.
and he has to
yeah.
like save all the different people. Like there's like the pig guts one, there's the guy in like the arm and leg twisty machine.
Mhm.
I just wish it was like Samuel Jackson in that movie, just him going through, just reacting to all these different things happening. It would have been a good main.
I feel
man
yeah.
for
Well,
that.
like this movie wasn't. It didn't really feel like a Saw movie. It was kind of just like a bad version of Seven. I felt where it's a horror movie, but it's just like a cop investigating a serial killer who kills people in over the top ways. But
Well, I think that's kind of like how Saw 4 is. Saw 3 or 4, I can't remember.
I mean, I only
One of
really
those.
remember the first three. The other ones, I don't remember a lot.
Yeah, well, one of
But,
them, yeah, Saw 1 and 2 are like their own things.
but we want
Saw,
the focus to be on the traps and the deaths.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I think Saw 3 does that one really well. That's one of the guys going through all the different
Yeah,
contraptions.
well, and
the
then
pig guts.
isn't
But
the
there's
second
another-
one where everyone's like in like a fun house and they have to like get the keys by going in different traps, and
Mm-hmm.
the girl sticks her hand and like the blades are like up, and then
Yeah.
she sticks her other hand
yeah,
in.
they try to pull it out and they both get stuck in there. It's so good.
Oh man, I love horror movies.
I know, but yeah, in this one, yeah, like the traps were pretty good, but to your point, they could have replaced all of the traps with just a normal murder, and it would have been just a normal detective story.
Yeah, exactly.
Murder, serial
exactly.
killer
Like
investigation, one of
a
them.
below average.
Yeah, a far
investigation.
below one. All of the tropes and like all of the acting, it was literally felt like a daytime like TV show.
Yeah, because
you know,
everything was
Law
just
and
like
Order thing.
so over the top and like so stereotypical.
Yeah,
Like the one cop that gets his fingers ripped off, he's like, "No, we're not gonna report it. I'm gonna go investigate by myself. You
Yeah.
better not tell anyone." And then yeah,
it's just so stupid, and it's like, I mean, I guess you don't really care about these cops, but still, yeah, it was dumb.
well, that's another thing too. The only cop that like the ones that died had no personality, but then the side ones at least had a little bit of personality. Like the lady cop who was partners of the finger guy, she was somewhat interesting, and then she just stops being in the movie also. Like
Yeah, I was expecting all those characters because there was a lot that were introduced. There was a huge police force.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was really expecting that last scene at the end to just have all of them in some sort of
No,
game.
well, I think that would have made a lot more sense where if the guy like took Chris Rock's phone and then he was like, "Oh, I'm Jigsaw, I have Chris Rock," and then everyone's like, "Oh, actually, he's not that bad of a guy. Like maybe we shouldn't bully him so much." And then they try to help him at the end, and then they all get killed instead of just these random SWAT guys.
Yeah, it could have
Yeah.
been good. They could have developed some of the dynamics between the characters and like all the different characters. Maybe you think some of them's a good cop, or like Chris Rock knows one of them's corrupt, but thinks the other two are good. So then it's like one of them's his friend who ended up like killing some guy back in the day. So it's betrayal. Then he has to decide if he wants to help him or save him. So it's Chris Rock
Yeah.
like, struggling to make those moral decisions, who to save, and that would be more interesting. They kind of set it up like that too. Like, oh, here's the ultimate test, and it was just
Yeah,
his
well, that's
dad.
I
was
feel
hoping
like
there'd be a
because
lot
the
more.
first guy who died
So.
supposedly that was Chris Rock's friend, and he didn't know he was corrupt. So I feel like if they played on that a little bit more, and like I said, the relationship between him and his dad wasn't really that interesting. It was just fun watching Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, well, they only had like one scene together, and it just seemed like he was kind of like a shitty,
Mm-hmm.
absent father who didn't really care. And he
Yeah,
was,
I
I
mean,
guess
he
he
gave
was
that guy a
corrupt,
scar
so
on his face.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of, it was just stupid. Again, it was just it seemed very
Yeah.
formulaic.
Yeah, it didn't do
all the
anything
detective stuff,
new or
even
exciting.
for a
And
Saw
then, like I
movie,
said,
you kinda knew it.
they were. I feel like they tried to really make that big twist at the end, and then just like didn't work at all.
Yeah, it was no like ending. I think you said it reminds you of Seven, and it just wasn't even close to as
No,
good of a reveal as Seven was.
Yeah.
Or as any of I guess the other Saw movies, when they tried to do twists too, was not great, not
Yeah.
too good.
Yeah. And then I would have liked to seen a few more death scenes, like you said. I mean,
Yeah, it was just the lack of death scenes. There should have been more. There wasn't
because
really that much
after the guy
tension
got his
for me
tongue
either.
ripped out, like the first one, it was so long before there was anything else.
Yeah, it was very and like everything else was just terrible. Like the dialogue was
Exactly.
like the jokes were really bad. The acting wasn't well delivered. All the cuts were kind of weird. Even the sound editing was weird. Like all these characters that kind of have dynamics with each other just are not really fleshed out at all. They don't come back into play.
Yeah.
Characters that are kind of developed just aren't in the movie anymore. Like it's very predictable, generic police detective that you've seen like a billion times. So you really don't care about
Yeah,
the plot.
exactly.
And it's like it's a lot of it.
Exactly.
And there's not even tension. It doesn't even feel like a thriller really either. There's not like yeah, people are dying, but it doesn't feel like it has like ticking clock like mentality to it for me as much. I wasn't really at the edge of my seat. I mean, I did kind
Yeah,
of start to
yeah, because they
like
tried to
Chris
like
Rock
play up
maybe, but-
play up the thing that they're like, oh, people are going to be attacking cops, but you're going to be looking for bodies, but then the body's somewhere else or something. I feel like they really tried to play that up, and then when it happened, I just like didn't care. I was just like, oh yeah,
Yeah, it's just
I don't know.
Yeah,
And I really wanted to like this movie. I love the Saw movies. They're just like they're basically slasher films, and I love slasher films. But instead of seeing cops get killed, I want to see teenagers get killed.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be good as like like a slasher version of Saw. So it's like some weird kid gets bullied in high school. He's like the nerdy smart kid, so then he gets all the jocks and puts them in cool contraptions in like the high school. He turns the high school like dance into like a Saw themed.
Dude, I'm sure there's a Saw spoof movie out there. We gotta find out about that. I know there's.
Scary Movie 5 has a Saw
Yeah, I was
bit.
gonna say the scary movie has something, but
Because I think it's they're also spoofing War of the Worlds, and I think when they get taken by the alien ship, they're all captured in the alien ship, and then they're all stuck in there. One of the guy's chained in, so he has to saw his way out. And I think Tom Cruise shows up, if I remember correctly.
dude, I love the scary movies. They're so good.
They're so stupid.
They're so
great.
good. Dude, I just remember we thought the funniest thing, I think it's Scary Movie 3 when the aliens attack and they're trying to open the door to the minivan, but he keeps locking it when the guy tries to pull the
It's
handle.
like, get in the car. It's like, okay, I'm going to unlock it. Then he keeps opening the handle at the same
He's
time.
like, no, I'm gonna unlock it, then you open. He's like, okay. And he's like, I'm gonna count down 3, 2.
And he's like, you know what? I'm not even going to get in the car. I'm not even going to get in the car. Then he just gets killed immediately. He gets vaporized.
Oh.
Yeah, oh my god, those movies are so silly. I can't wait till spoof movies have a resurgence again. Once
I
like
mean-
all these superhero movies, once like Justice League and Marvel runs its course and there's no more Star Wars, more back to spoof movies.
Definitely. I mean, we need another paranormal whacktivity.
Dude, we need another date movie. Disaster movie.
50 Shades of Black.
Oh my god, that one was so ridiculous. Yeah, dude, there's some. What was the last spoof movie? Like, I can't
I
even
mean, I'm sure they're still making them. I remember. I think the last one we watched was 50 Shades of Black, and that was still several years ago.
that or Hungover Games. I'm sure they're still out there. There's that really bad Fast and the Furious one, like Too Fast, Too Furious. Something. What was it even called?
Well, that one was so funny because they like literally didn't give a fuck at all. That's the one where they just like edited in like fart sounds and post and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Oh, yeah. I wish they would have gone more with the comedy in this one. I was kind of hoping that like Chris Rock, he would have that like the jokes kind of bringing it back to life, where they were going to go like more B horror with this one, but they kind of did. They attempted to at the beginning, and then it just wasn't good.
Yeah,
Little disappointed. I always want more jokes in horror movies, but what are you gonna
especially with Chris Rock. But I guess maybe he's trying to change his image. I don't know.
Yeah, well, all we can hope is that when they make Spiral 2, they have those cameos from Rob Schneider, get Paul Blart in there, the Sandman, and then there's no way it's going to fail.
Buscemi, yeah.
It's basically the plot of Grown Ups, but instead of them just having fun summer times with their family, they go to the cabin, and then it's a Saw cabin. They just
Oh my- that would
gotta
actually
go all
really-
the pranks to save their family.
That would be actually really fitting. Like, there's that scene where they have to like go down the zip line at the water park, but then there can be like spikes and stuff at the bottom, and then
Yeah, like they put like acid in the water in the pool, so like, like they're going down the water slides and their skin's melting off, and they gotta swing over the acid water part. Oh, that'd be good. And then like they even do that in part. Remember they shoot the arrow straight up in the air,
Oh
and they
yeah,
like
yeah.
have to run and hide from it. It could be like that, but just more arrows and people get impaled or something.
Yeah, yeah. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a
That'd
fun
be very
movie.
good.
Yeah,
I would watch that.
better than this one.
Yeah, is there any good? I didn't watch Hubie Halloween, but is there any good horror elements in that one?
I haven't gotten to that one yet.
Maybe next Halloween. Oh gosh, I mean, yeah, it's just this movie. I was expecting it to be. I wasn't expecting it to be great, and I think it was better than I was expecting, to be honest, though, because the last two were just horrible. I did
Yeah.
not enjoy the last two Saw
I don't,
movies.
think,
And
I don't
I
even think I saw the last one.
Yeah, I think the 2 Halloweens ago, I went through and like I didn't realize I'd seen almost all of them already, so I rewatched all of them, and I was like, oh, these are really bad. Like even rewatching Saw 2 and like 3, which I remember I liked when it first came out. I'm like, this isn't like good. It's just kind of cheesy and just
Well, I
really
feel like
silly.
those ones still they kind of have memorable scenes, even if they aren't that good. Like everyone remembers when that girl is like thrown into the pit full of like used syringes and things like that. So like even if the movie, like the Resident Evil movie, everyone remembers that laser scene. So I feel like if a movie has a scene that's that memorable, it did something right.
Yeah, well, even this one, like it was much better than the previous Saw, or the last one in the franchise, and the death scenes were pretty solid. Like that glass machine was dope.
Yeah.
I mean, the tongue one did bother me. That one was pretty gross. So I
Yeah, and the guy like exploded when he got ran over. I didn't know those
Yeah.
trains go that fast.
So I mean, I think if you like those good death scenes, if you're just gore hounds like us, you'll probably enjoy this. I mean,
Yeah. Well, are we doing our recommendations now?
yeah, let's get into it. Would you recommend Spiral?
So I would say this is definitely play on your phone and watch movie. If you just don't care that much, you want to see a couple good death scenes and a generic investigation plot in between them, play on your phone and watch it.
Yeah, or if you're having a bunch of like friends over and you want to put something on to give everyone a good scare, some gross out deaths and shocks.
Yeah,
this
kinda
would be
like
a good one to
Make
put
fun
on.
of how bad it is.
Yeah, because you can kind of laugh at how stupid it is. And you got Chris Rock in there; he's a familiar face, so
yeah.
it's not like some shitty, generic, low-budget horror movie that no one's gonna be like, "Oh, that looks like garbage."
Yeah. This
No,
one actually
no,
had,
it's Saw and it's Chris Rock, so it
Yeah.
can't be that bad.
Yeah,
you
I mean, it
know?
has a decent budget. I mean, it looked nice for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's a Saw movie, it delivers on what you expect it to be a Saw movie. I mean, I don't think anyone watches Saw movies for the intricacies of the plot or the great detective work that's going on here. But it wasn't groundbreaking. I wouldn't say it's
It's
anything
not.
new.
I feel like they kind of promoted it as like a new soft reboot, like a new twist on the Saw movies. But I felt like it just fell flat, and it's just like a generic whatever.
It felt very much like the other Saw movies. I mean, I think I want to say Saw 5 and 6 and even the newest one. Most of I think they're all cops going through the games.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
that's a
I'm
very
pretty sure like the
common thing.
last two are.
yeah, at least 2 of them are that. So it's like think of something a little bit more original. I mean, I guess it's good because the cops are all evil, but I think that's explored in one of the other ones a little bit. Maybe not fully, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? It's just there's so many cop movies right now. Do we really need more cop movies with Saw?
Well, I feel like with these investigation things, there's like a lot of like solid TV shows that do the same thing like really well.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I watch like a TV shows are getting like so much better now and like bigger budget shows? Why watch this forgettable movie?
Yeah, I mean, if you want like really solid detective stuff, I mean, they can dive super deep into the crimes and the history. Then like they explore like the characters, which makes a good detective story.
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
is like the character development of the detective going through it. Like,
And I feel like when you
True
spend so much
Detective
time
does
with the
it.
characters, it gets really into like the psychological aspect, which me and you both like really enjoy.
yeah, well, it's like True Detective season 1 and season 3 does an amazing job
Yeah.
of like having a super solid like strong detective or 2 detectives. or
Yeah,
even,
exactly. Mindhunter comes.
Yeah, Mindhunter's really good, or even the one you're watching right now. Is it mayor of Easttown.
Yeah.
That one's really good. Kate Winslet's female detective, and it spends the time to like explore the dynamics of her family and like all the shit she's going through in her life, as well as like the small town murders that are happening.
And you just don't have time to do that in movies most of the time. I mean, not saying it's impossible, but it's harder to do.
Yeah, well, that's again, the TV shows are much better for character development and building story than with like murder or detective stuff. Like that's all it's about is the character and how much you care about the person that died and trying to solve it.
Yeah.
So it does it justice most of the time.
Because like in a movie, they can only introduce so many characters, and you're like, okay, one of these guys is the killer. So there's like there's like 3 of them, and then you can usually figure it out pretty quick.
You can figure it out unless you're Denzel Washington and was it Rami Malek or whatever. They couldn't figure out who did it. And that
I don't even remember the name of that movie.
I know I blocked it out, but then it just came back to me.
I was like,
movie.
are you talking about The Bone Collector?
The Bone Collector. No, dude, what was that movie called? Oh, it was so bad. It was.
I just want to say it's called like Nowhere or No Man or something, but I don't think Vacancy or something. I don't know.
The cover looked like Vacancy. It was like that kind of shitty, like no vacancy reflection in a puddle. I remember that.
Man, why'd you have to? I thought I wiped that completely from my brain.
Nope, it's gonna come back. We have it
The
all.
little things. The
little things.
I wasn't even close.
Yeah, we weren't close at all. Yeah, dude, that movie was so frustrating. I don't know what the fuck they were.
No, Spiral seems like a masterpiece compared to
Yeah,
that.
now in hindsight, Spiral was way better. Yeah, watch this. This is very entertaining. If you like horror movies, go watch this. Just do not watch Little Things. Good God. I would say of the drama, I guess you could say of detective movies I've seen this year.
Yeah,
That
now
one
that I
takes
think
the cake
about
of
it,
the
this
worst.
is a lot. Yeah, that's far
That-
from the worst.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to say like order of ones you should watch, I'd say watch like, what is it? The Virtuoso, then like Spiral, and then The Little Things. I think are order of goodness. Would I really recommend any of them? Probably not. But I mean, if I had to rank them,
Yeah.
I think all the movies being made of detective stuff, it's just those are just. They get made into TV shows. It's just the leftovers that get made into movies now.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all I can say about Spiral. It's a Saw movie. It's Chris Rock. Get some tongues ripped out, some fingers ripped off, some glass shredded into your back. It's Saw.
Come easy, go.
Should we hop into Cruella now, or do you have any last final thoughts for Spiral?
No, I think I said all. I think we talked this movie to death. It's not.
Yeah. It's enough. It's enough Saw.
Until the next one,
dude.
Until the next one.
Hopefully, Spiral 2, it'll have some flashbacks and some more of Samuel Jackson in it. That would be great, and more Sandman. That would be ideal.
Definitely.
All right. So the next movie we're going to be talking about is Cruella, directed by Craig Gillespie, starring Emma Stone. And this is a live-action prequel to 101 Dalmatians. I knew absolutely nothing about it except for that going into it. I didn't even know Emma Stone was in it.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her from like the clips I saw.
Yeah, I didn't even watch any clips. I just knew it's a big Disney movie coming out. Got some dogs with spots in it. I'm like, it's got to be 101. I didn't even know it was a prequel. What was going on? But
is it a prequel?
It's a loose prequel. I don't
Okay.
think it's like tit for tat for everything that happens in this one makes sense because Cruella's pretty evil in the movie
So I watched
in the old, original one.
Yeah, I watched the original animated. Was it 1961 movie after I watched Cruella? And that one takes place in the 60s, and this one takes place in the 70s. But I guess it is kind of an origin story. But
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was thinking of the prequel to like the 90s one with the dude
oh,
from
the
Dumb and
other
Dumber.
live action one.
Yeah, the other live action one in the 90s. That's the one I was thinking it's a prequel to. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch the old 60s one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I was reading something about it online. I think some
That
stuff
would
kind
make a
of
lot more
carries
sense
over, but-
than
But she's still evil in the 60s one. Isn't she like her whole thing is she wants to skin the dogs, right?
Yeah.
To like make a
She doesn't
coat
even
out
have
of
any
it.
motivation. She just like comes at the beginning of the movie and she's like, "Give me your puppies," and they're like, "Whoa, hold on."
Yeah, I mean they kind of allude to it because like the puppies killed her her mom, even though it wasn't really her mom. Spoilers, sorry, but like
Oh, yeah,
then she
mom
ends up
was
getting the
weird.
dogs at the end, so it's like she kind of likes them and she gives them away. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. But
We'll have to
anyways,
find out. We'll have to find out in Cruella 2, which is already in pre-production.
is it really?
Yeah, it's already they're already going for it.
I mean, honestly, this movie was a lot better than I expected. Like I said, I went in with no expectations, but I kind of don't like any of these like live action Disney ones. And I guess technically this one's not like a reboot; it's an origin story. But yeah, it was a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, the outfits were incredible for this
Hmm.
movie. I mean, it looked gorgeous. There's some shots too of like they captured was it the 70s, all the vibes and the
Yeah,
outfits and stuff so well.
yeah.
Like
The
the one
costume design was on point.
yeah, even like they had some of those really long like panning shots when she was like first working at the clothing store
Hmm.
and was like going around showing all the outfits and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, I
damn,
feel
this
like
is
they
like
actually like
awesome.
cared about this movie a lot more than
Mhm.
a lot of the other Disney, like the live action remakes where they're just like soulless frame for frame copies, but worse than the
Yeah,
classics.
and the CGI was really good in this one too. And they didn't. I think they used it sparingly, or it was just good and I couldn't tell. So it wasn't like overly CGI like what the Beauty and the Beast
Yeah,
remake was.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, this some of the clips and scenes and shots they remind me of like Wes Anderson. Like there was so much like color and cool shit happening and
Hmm.
detail. It
Yeah, I
looked
feel like they
really
used
nice.
color very well because like a lot of the, like outside stuff was like very dreary and dark, but then all of like the fashion stuff was like
Mhm.
really bright and nice, and then thought that was like a really good touch.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, just for the pure like visuals of the whole movie, I think it's just worth watching just for that. I mean,
Hmm.
whatever, well, the other stuff definitely has its problems, but God, it looks nice.
Yeah, so I enjoyed the characters a lot. Like
Hmm.
Emma Stone was great. Her like two friends were great. The Baroness was like a good villain, even though I didn't really. I feel like she was in the movie too much. Like
Hmm.
I didn't really care that much about that. I just kind of liked seeing Cruella like fall into madness. I thought that was like really interesting. She's like being mean to her friends and like using people. I thought that was like what was my favorite part.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting her to go that evil. Like I know she's the bad guy, and like that's like the 101s in like
Hmm.
Dalmatians lore, but like I wasn't expecting her just to go like full evil like that and just treat her friends like shit and stuff. So
Hmm.
it was interesting. It definitely had some adult themes and back again to the visuals. Like yeah, it's like a simple thing. Like oh, she wears her wig to hide her hair, but then she's like no, I'm embracing the black and white hair, and then that's
Hmm.
like her alter ego, like her kind of split
Yeah, yeah.
personality. And I think that just makes is very well done. Like with the characters, getting the visuals, reflecting it, like everything was on point for it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, because
But
I feel like a lot of times the side characters are not interesting. Like the one large guy was like kind of the comic relief guy, but he was
mhm.
also just like a good guy too. In
Yeah, it
the
would help her.
in the old one, the 1961, those guys are really evil.
Yeah, what do they do in the '60s one? What goes on in that? Because I
I
don't know
mean,
much about it.
they basically they're the ones who steal all the dogs and they just like keep them locked up and then she's like, okay, go kill them, and they're like, okay, and they just like fucking break up the furniture and make these clubs and are just like ready to go bonk all of these puppies to make coats out of.
Oh God, yeah. I guess back in the '60s, they were just it was more widely acceptable to just murder dogs, and
Yeah,
nowadays
yeah.
you can't get away with it. Yeah, it's had some dark themes of evil dogs. I thought some dogs were gonna die. I'm surprised that they're even keeping that. That's worse than anything we see in the Saw movies. Dogs dying. Good God. I did think it was kind of funny though at the very beginning because I knew nothing about it. Of course, it's fucking Disney, and Disney has to have its goddamn Disney tropes of oh, the girl's mom just gets murdered at the beginning. I was like, oh, it's gonna actually like the mom's in it quite a bit. Her mom's actually alive. That's gonna what a
Mhm.
mix up for once. The dad's like dead or out of the picture
Yeah, I
now.
thought she was
That's a
gonna
nice
die
little
like the end
twist.
of the movie.
But nope, she just
Yeah.
died. Like I was like, oh, like 15, 20 minutes in. Like, oh, yep, it's Disney. Never mind. Can't get away from that.
And it happens like super fast too.
Dude, I'm pretty like crazy. Like for a kids movie, like the dogs just tackle her off the cliff. Good,
I
like,
know.
man, that was
And they
wild.
like show her falling into like the water.
Yeah. I was not expecting that. It was brutal. There's some brutal bareness in that movie. Jesus. Yeah, that was wild. I did like the Baroness. She was in it a lot, and I think she did a fine job acting. And to your point, all the characters were pretty good. But the Baroness, the whole time I kept thinking this is just a less good version of Meryl Streep's character in Devil Wears Prada.
Especially at the beginning of the movie, it was like the exact same plot.
They definitely set up. Okay, so that's another thing I want to talk about. It's like that part of the movie was just like Devil Wears Prada. And then like when she like decides she wants to like steal the red stone, that's just like that's like a heist movie. It's like Ocean's 12 is what I was thinking. And then after that, it was almost like a game of like what cat and mouse, and then like going head to head. I don't really know what like an I Care a Lot kind of like fighting for power movies. It felt like three different movies in one. There was a lot going on.
Well, especially the first half and the second half when she decides to be evil, it does become an entirely different movie.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it. It's just kind of strange pacing. Like, I liked all of the parts as a whole. It's just a lot going on, a lot happening.
Yeah.
But that one part where they were stealing, that reminded me so much of Ocean's 12. I think.
I thought what was going to happen when they went in the like vault. And they had those laser security. I thought the guy was just going to get chopped into pieces, like, because I just watched the Resident Evil movies. So I thought he was just going to dodge some lasers and then get chunked up.
Dude, that would have been so good. He's like, I got it. And just his hand just turns into like little gridlock pieces. Dude, no, I thought what was going to happen. I thought he was going to go in there. And then it's like, all right, he's got to get past the lasers now. How are they going to deactivate the lasers? It's like, oh, we're not going to deactivate the lasers. We're just going to dance through them, just like in Ocean's 12, where that French guy dances through the lasers to steal the artifact.
Doesn't Jack Black do that in a Tenacious D movie?
I think so too, but that actually happens in one of the Ocean movies too.
Yeah,
it's like a long, silly scene.
That actually would have been pretty funny.
It was wacky.
So I just want to say, normally I don't like dogs in movies. I feel like it's unnecessarily, and it's like manipulative emotions to try to get you more invested in it. But the dog that Wink, I think its name was, the one-eyed tiny dog, that dog was pretty chill.
Yeah, that dog was really good. I think you might just be biased though, because I know how much you love pirates, and I know I had an eye patch, so maybe that's why.
I hated Emma Stone's dog that was in it for no reason at all.
A little brown fluffer thing.
Yeah, it didn't say.
Yeah, the other dog did a lot more stuff. I mean, the brown one kind of helped, but yeah, it wasn't in it as much as the little rat dog. At least like the Wink or whatever dressed up as a rat to like run around and help with the heists.
I actually thought that was pretty funny too.
Okay, so my question to you: did they use real dogs at any point in the movie? Because like I could not fucking tell what was CGI and what was real when I was looking at those dogs. I was trying so hard to figure it out, and I had no idea. I could not tell.
I mean, some scenes in the beginning, I felt like it was pretty obvious that it was CG, but then some of the ones later when they're like not moving a whole lot looked really real, and I couldn't tell.
Well, just even with the scenes where they're like actually like at the beginning, like they'll just be talking, and then the dog's like looking at them, but the dog's like reacting to what they're saying, like is moving their head like back and forth. Like it looks so clean. I'm like, how did they do that? Like I wonder if they're just like splicing shots of dogs looking into like that scene. I don't know, but I think it's technology's gone too far. I don't know what's real anymore. It's messing with me.
I mean, I didn't see the new Lion King movie, but everyone praises that it looks like real animals, but I refuse to watch that movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that either.
But, I guess the future is now.
Yeah, but even with the Lion King one though, like they're talking, so you know it's fake. You know? Yeah. And I think isn't that one all CGI? They didn't actually film it. So like this, there's real people in it in real environments, and the dog. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's a real dog or not.
I don't know. It's probably just like a really flexible man in a green suit.
Like how they did Gollum in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it's just Gollum in a dog suit.
A green dog suit.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, I don't know, but either way, the dogs were important. They weren't just like useless frozen characters or another animal with just given dog-like characteristics.
Oh, that's my trigger. Not dogs acting like dogs.
Yeah, but I mean, to your point though, I mean, even the dogs were good characters, except for the brown dog. Wink was a good dog character, but they spent time to even like develop people. Even like the bald guy who was like, I don't know if that's supposed to be her father or what. He ended up helping her at the end, so that was good. He just kind of seemed like a weird background guy.
Well, I mean, that actor is pretty famous, so I figured he would do something. I just didn't know what.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was really funny though. The guy with big glasses who worked for the Baroness.
Yeah.
I don't think he had like any lines
So he's
for
like a total
most
Andrew character.
most of the movie. Like I remember I was waiting for a really long time. At the beginning, I didn't notice if he talked or not. But like during the middle, like this guy has no lines. He's just like a little like slave.
Yeah, I think
and
the
then
only
he was
thing he
about to
said was
talk
like
at once.
it was like
Wait,
the
he was-
Baroness wants you. I think he says once.
Yeah. Well, like there's one scene she asks like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then like he's about to talk, he like opens his mouth, and then they just cut immediately, so you don't hear him say. But then he has a few other lines like, "Oh, they're here," and like let them in later. You're right.
Dude, you know what I don't get is why anyone would work for the Baroness. Like, it seemed like she had like a shit ton of employees, but all she does is like be an asshole, steal people's work, and like tell them to like murder puppies. So like,
Yeah, maybe she pays really well. I
I mean
don't
that
know.
would be my guess, but she just seems so useless. Like she's like a total narcissist, but like she doesn't do anything.
Yeah. She seemed like she would suck. Like I don't know why they would quit unless they have nothing better going for
I mean,
them.
yeah, I guess people wanted status because like working for her meant you're like a class above everyone else, but still, like she's just like
Yeah.
she was gonna get exposed sooner or later. Just took Cruella to get there, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think the idea is like, yeah, I mean, the movie's not really grounded in any real reality, I guess you could say, but like my thought was, oh, this if you want to make it in fashion, you have to work for her because yeah, you'll get the
Yeah,
status,
fair
and then
enough,
if you
fair
try to
enough.
start your own fashion business, it seems like she just kills you.
Yeah, she just, like,
So maybe
murders
there's been a
you.
lot of people who quit, but it's like they just whoever
Fair
wants
enough,
it bad
fair
enough. The,
enough.
the temptation of success is why.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have enough money, you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah, but they did a good job making her unlikable.
Oh,
so you definitely hated
definitely.
her. You really hated her.
She had to take those 9-minute power naps.
Yeah. What was your favorite part though? I would say favorite outfit, but they're all pretty good outfits. It's hard
Well, I mean, definitely my favorite part was just like the montage of her, like upshowing the Baroness. All of those scenes were really cool.
I like the part where she built the fancy dress out of like the little gold beads, and then it was just moths.
moths.
It was just moths in there. It was
Yeah, I was wondering
terrifying.
what they were gonna do with that because the guy, her friend, like brought in the box.
I thought it was gonna be those were like little metal golden beads or something, and then I thought when someone was wearing it, they're gonna use like a big magnet or something to like.
Yeah, I thought
steal
something
it,
it was
like
gonna
some
cause it to
Inspector
like
Gadget
fall
type
apart.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I thought it was a magnet. I thought those were like little metal nuggets. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. The bugs I didn't see coming for a mile.
Yeah,
I
I didn't expect
was a little surprise. All right, what about things you didn't like about Cruella?
So I think a lot of people are gonna disagree with me on this one, but I did not like the music. I see it getting a lot of praise online, and then everyone talks about like it had a great score. I didn't even notice the score. I don't think
Yeah.
for most of the scenes, but I felt like the music was just like too on the nose.
Yeah, it was very, very on the nose. Like the boots were made for walking, just going around. Like just reminds me of like Puss in Boots from Shrek. So it's like that's not gonna work. And then like the one that really got me was the ending song with the sympathy for the devil. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
And
just
then
too
at the
money.
beginning too, they just like kept playing song after song after song where it reminded me of the beginning of Suicide Squad, which like everyone hates, where like they just switch from character to character and each one has like a really on the nose song for that one also, and it just was like so in your face, and they just like kept doing it over and over and over.
Yeah, it was really annoying. Like, it's one thing, like, I guess it's memorable, but it's because it's just super popular songs that everyone's
Yeah.
heard a billion times. It was just
Yeah.
too many. And, like, I think some of the praise people had for it is like, oh, these songs, for the time, they were kind of like the breakthrough ones for these bands and, like, the youth were using to rebel against society. Like, she kind of has that, like, punk look to her. But it's just too much. Like, there's way too many.
Yeah.
Some
I
of them
feel
work,
like,
but
too,
not
with
all of them.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like it's fine if they did it a few times, but they just did it over and over, and they did it throughout the entire movie. Where I feel like kind of the theme of the movie is like rebelling and standing up for yourself. So I feel like they could have gone for like that more grunge sound. And I'm not even like talking anything crazy. I mean, I guess there's a Clash song in there, but like I was waiting for a scene for them to play Ballroom Blitz. Like I feel like that fits like so well, like a montage where they're like vandalizing something and play Ballroom Blitz just because that fits, and it's still a popular song that a lot of people are going to know, but it's not just like an in your face sympathy for the devil type song.
Yeah, I feel like Disney, they're just trying to flex on all the viewers and other filmmakers. They're like, yeah, we're using all of these like super famous popular songs. We probably paid like a couple million for each of these songs just because we're Disney. So look at us, we're putting every song we can in there.
But I feel like it could have really elevated the movie too if they used it more cleverly. Where at the beginning of the movie they can just play all of like the mainstream whatever songs, and then as she went more crazy, kind of go more punk sounding. And I feel like that could have the music could have gone along with her character more.
Yeah, well, I feel like that absolutely would have made it better, yes. But since it's Disney, they're never
Yeah.
going to do anything that's kind of not super mainstream, any kind of punk or grungy or anything that's actually going to inspire rebellion. No, they can't have that. The parents will
Well,
be like,
yeah, I told you I was joking. I was like, oh yeah, you don't want your kids to watch this, and then they get on YouTube and search the Sex Pistols right after.
Yeah.
Like-
But with it too, it's just I have a really hard time with any classic rock songs that are like on the radio or like main popular ones, just because they're overplayed so much. And like I've seen so many trailers and kids movies, and it's like I feel like sometime in like 2005 maybe 2010, every single like kids movie trailer had like some like Aerosmith song or some like
Yeah.
one hit wonder classic rock song. And it's like they're not bad songs, but now when I hear classic rock like that in movies, it just associates me with like children's movies and just kind
Yeah.
of takes me out of it.
Well, I
It's
feel like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of kicked that off, where they have like this dad rock banger playlist because everyone like ate it up that much, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's got some Depeche Mode on it, but it's not anything mind blowing. There's
Well, yeah.
definitely better soundtracks out there.
Yeah, well, for me, like, yeah, maybe it's a fine song and it works every once in a while, but it was kind of distracting. Like, it's a good
Yeah.
song, but when you play, like, oh, I know that song. Oh, it's this guy. Then you're not
Yeah.
watching the movie at that point, you know? It's like one of the ones that worked really well in this movie. I think it was it the Animals song? It was like Season of Loving or
Yeah.
and like while it was showing like the clothes like in the cool shop. It wasn't like saying like it wasn't super on the nose. It just kind of a nice like setting the mood for that like 70s vibe or whatever. And it
But the
worked
problem
well.
is, in the scene before that was when she was getting ready and they're playing "She's Like a Rainbow," so it was like immediately one to the next one.
And immediately after that, that's when she's walking. And it has that "My Boots Are Made for
Yeah.
Walking" song, and it's just like there's like way too many.
So yeah, I feel like individually
Unnecessary.
one of them would have worked really well, but the fact that they did 3 back to back like that,
Yeah. No, it was too much. It was too noticeable and just kind of taking you out of the moment. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. To your point, if someone online said that the score was good, I can't
Yeah.
remember any of it.
Yeah, I don't
No
remember any
score.
of it, but
I mean, I'm assuming it's good. It's Disney. They have good music. And
yeah. Well, I
songs and
watched so
orchestra
the
and stuff.
1961 animated one. It has like a huge focus on music. Like the dog owner guy is a songwriter in that, and even like the opening credits, it's like the spots for like Dalmatian spots turn into like musical notes that they're playing and stuff. So like music is like a huge part of that movie, and I guess maybe they're trying to keep up with that, but I don't think they did it well, especially for movies where it's like in London in the 70s. Like there's so much good music from London in the 70s, and they just picked the American whatever.
Yeah, the ones known like globally really
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked a little more. This is very as Tim Heidecker would say, it's very meat and potatoes music selection, if you ask me. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that was one of the plot, like kind of the flaws I saw with this. I also didn't like the length; it was kind of long.
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
But I mean, it was fine. I enjoyed it for the most part going through. Just dragged a little at parts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the story was actually surprisingly good. I felt like it was pretty creative, and even though the twists weren't like mind blowing, they definitely kept me interested and entertained.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't what you would expect necessarily from a Disney movie, and I feel like it explored a little bit more adult themes than other Disney movies, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
I think it got kind of darker with like being an orphan, which isn't necessarily new to Disney, I guess, but just how they depicted all
Yeah,
of
because
the,
she
the,
like
the
is
treatment
homeless.
of people.
Yeah, she's like homeless and kind of outcast. It's not like she got adopted immediately into a loving family or something. It's
Yeah, and they're like con men, and like her getting bullied and like beating up kids in school and stuff. And then then the theme of her just kind of descending into madness too, and treating her friends horribly. Like it's kind of strange for a Disney movie to really focus on the
Yeah.
bad guy.
Yeah.
Like when you think of a bad guy, I think I was imagining it's going to be like was it Jack Skeleton from like Night Before Christmas? It's like, oh, it's just because he's a skeleton. That's why he's the bad guy. 'Cause he's a spooky skeleton.
He looks
you
like
know?
that. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out too. So I watched the old one after watching Cruella, but I remembered Cruella every scene she's smoking. Literally in the one, literally every scene. When I rewatched it, she's smoking in every scene. She has like one of those like really long things where you put the
Ooh.
cigarette at the end, and I really remembered that. That was like one of the few things I remembered from the old ones. I was like, I bet they're not gonna have her smoke in this because that's not PC right now. And then she didn't. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. Disney can't have people smoking in movies anymore. It's too taboo. What would have been dope though is if instead of her smoking all the time, she just had a fat vape and she was just like
Had a little
puffing, like,
USB.
some bubble gum, like some juice or something all over. That would have been hilarious. Oh, that would have been good. Yeah, I mean, everything for the time it was good. Another thing I want to mention is that Emma Stone's character, she did a phenomenal job. She did a really good job acting, I thought. I mean, playing the crazy girl, and then her delivery, like at the fountain. I think when she was really sad, I can't remember if it's when she found out the Baroness is her mom or not, but she goes back to the fountain at some point, right before she has that breakdown where she wants to like kill the Baroness. I guess that's where like that was really well done. Just she did a good job. I think
Yeah, she's a good actress. She's come a long way
pride.
from Superbad.
Yeah, not as good as Superbad, but it's up there. So that's a tough performance of her.
Well, I mean, that's probably going to be a Playhouse classic in the future. But...
Dude, Superbad's so funny. When I went back and watched it maybe like maybe 2 years ago, and I hadn't seen it in a really long time. There's just so many dick jokes. It's just
that's like
dick
the whole
reference
movie.
and like it's just so many. But it was hilarious how many dick jokes there are. It was good. It kind of reminded me of. Did you ever? I think I told you already, but that show, The Righteous Gemstones, the Danny McBride one. Did I tell you to watch that one?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but
It's just every episode just has unnecessary male nudity as a joke.
my
Every
favorite.
single one. It's just silly. But yeah, Emma Stone did a great job, and the acting was on point.
Yeah, and for a Disney movie, I'd say this is one of the better ones of recent times. I'd say since Frozen 1. It's probably the best Disney movie.
Yeah, no, I really like this one. I would watch it again. I mean, again, the visuals, this is some of the best I've seen in a long time. Like, it was like even challenging the cinematography from like Phantom Thread, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a big fan of like period pieces, and even though it's not really a period piece, since it's Disney, they do have the budget to make it look good. Like the costumes or everything, and was on point.
Yeah, well, and all of it, the use of color, the cinematography, the costumes, the layout of the building, like they got so creative.
Yeah,
with all
and
of
Disney started giving a shit all of a sudden. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the director, what else did he do? What did Mr. Craig do? Other movies did he make?
I checked, but I didn't recognize any that he directed. I think he wrote the I, Tonya was the only one I saw that he directed.
Oh yeah, he directed I, Tonya.
I think he produced or wrote Lars and the Real Girl.
No, he directed.
Oh,
Lars
he
and the Real
directed
Girl.
that one? I love Lars and the Real
Yeah.
Girl.
And he directed the remake of Fright Night, it looks like, too, as well as Mr. Woodcock.
I don't think I watched the Fright Night remix.
I didn't either, but the original Fright Night's really good. So
That's the vampire one, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I should watch that one.
Colin
Is that
Farrell.
Colin Farrell? It's
Colin
got Colin Farrell in it. Colin Farrell's a vampire.
Sounds sexy.
Toni Collette. Oh, and Anton Yelchin, too. We got to watch that one.
Ooh.
It was a pretty all-star. I feel like I did watch it. It must have been bad because I don't remember it at all. I think I did watch it. It just
I
wasn't
know we
that
watched
great.
the old one together a long time
The old
ago.
one's really good.
Yeah,
That one's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to watch another 80s horror movie. I haven't watched any good 80s stuff in a while.
I mean, I feel like we've seen so many of them. It's hard to find ones.
I know you can't make more 80s movies, unfortunately.
I mean, you get some that are kind of throwback, like House of the Devil, or like even it's like more serious one, and then like The Void is kind of 80s, like a silly
Yeah.
one.
Or you get like what is that one? Not really 80s throwback, but in like the style of like the Beyond the Black Rainbow or Mandy, kind of more 70s
Yeah.
grindhouse.
Yeah, Stranger Things.
I wouldn't consider that 80s. That one's just that one. I mean, it takes place in the 80s, and there's 80s shit in it, but it doesn't give me the same vibe as anything from the 80s does. Feels very much like a modern TV show
Well,
to me.
we need Quentin Tarantino to make a straight up horror movie. That's what we need.
Yeah, well, dude, he did. Everyone said that. What is it? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They said that one wasn't like true Quentin Tarantino, or they didn't like it as much. I thought the set design and the atmosphere was amazing for it. He did that was such a well made movie. It just
I
looked
thought that was
awesome.
the most Quentin Tarantino movie of Quentin. Yeah, that was a tongue twister. Quentin
Rewind.
Tarantino movies.
That was the most Quentin
Yes, that's
Tarantino
what I
of
was
all the
trying to
Quentin
say.
Tarantino movies that
That's
Quentin
what I'm trying to
Tarantino has ever made. Yeah, if he did a straight horror movie, that would have been great. I wish he just directed Army of the Dead. Maybe that
I
would
don't
have
think
made
he'd
it
ever
good.
want to make a movie like that. But I could see him making a like that.
No.
But I could see him making a slasher for sure.
Well, even just like at the end of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it goes like so over the top with the action and the violence, and like even in Inglourious Bastards, where it's like they're hiding under the floor and like you know that
because he knows how to build
under there.
suspense. Yeah.
So if he could have like a whole movie be just like 2 horror scenes. I mean, he did Death Proof, but I don't know, that one was okay. But
Oh, I actually really like that one, but I know no one else does. But
no, I like that one too, but it's not what you consider horror
yeah,
necessarily.
that's more like.
I mean, it is, but not like a
it's like
slasher.
it's like a suspense thriller or whatever.
Actually, now that I think of it, that one is really good. The car crash that just happens like they show it like multiple times. That's like genius.
It shows like
That's so
every
good.
it has to give you a
Yeah.
close up of every person in the car getting killed. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to watch that again.
Doesn't
That
another
was
wheel
so good.
hit a girl in the face on that one too? I mean, we just talked about the Saw
Yeah, the
4.
I think like the car goes through the front window, and then like the wheel just grinds her face off, and the one girl has her leg out the
Yeah,
window
that's the
too,
one I
and
remember.
it rips off and like falls. They show like every girl in the car. They show it dying.
they get their
like
own-
over and over again.
their own take. Yeah.
Dude, that was so great when so it was that and Planet Terror released double feature.
Yeah.
And then Planet Terror had that was an actually amazing zombie movie because most zombie movies suck way better than Army of the Dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it had some great gore.
And we
it
got
had all
those-
those fake trailers.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fake trailers in the middle.
That was so good. Oh, yeah. What movie were we talking about now? Cruella? Saw 3? Saw 3D? Anyway, back to Cruella. I mean, a good Disney movie. Do you have any final thoughts on it though? I think I've said everything I wanted to say
Yeah,
about it.
I think so too. No, I would definitely recommend this movie. Even though I am very disappointed in Disney Plus pricing of this movie, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I feel like Disney's such a huge conglomerate. I have a hard time enjoying anything Disney, but
They're
this
so-
was a good movie.
so
No matter
goddamn
which
greedy.
way you look at it, it's a good movie.
You
So
gotta
at least,
separate the art from the artist.
yeah, gotta separate the art from the artist. Yeah, no, I was pleasantly surprised by this. I enjoyed it. It was a fun movie for the whole family, and it was well made. It looked great. It looked great.
Yeah,
Much
definitely
better than
recommend.
Spiral.
Don't play on your phone while watching this one. Enjoy the cinematography, the costumes, the environment.
Yep. All right. I think that wraps it up. Thank you for watching this episode of Playhouse Reviews. And if you want to check out our other reviews, we just watched Army of the Dead. Go watch that one too. That movie's real good.
Our review is real good. The movie,
Our review-
watch it to find out.
Yeah, there you go.